Good morning. Welcome to day 13 of the 20-day Building Your Brand Challenge. And I know we've had a couple of really intense days, so today there is no exercise. You're off the hook. But I am actually going to let you in on a formula that I use quite often to help clients along when we are developing their brand. And it's something that most agencies won't talk about. I want to talk about the 3 C's. 3 C's. Now, if you do nothing else, if you ignore all of the advice that I've given you and the advice that I'm going to continue to give you over the next 8 days until the end of the 20-day challenge, you want to be mindful of these 3 things. Copycatting, competition, and creativity. What I call the 3 C's. Now, these are things that most agencies are reluctant to talk to clients about, or won't discuss it with them in front of them, but will discuss it internally. Not all, but most. As I said, if you don't listen to anything else and you only focus on this one particular video, the 3 C's, the reason I'm explaining it to you is I am letting you in on a little bit of a trade secret, is you need to be mindful of these. You've got logo briefs and briefs for content and video and photography on the go. You've compiled or still compiling your visual assets for your brand. You've got your brand anatomy in play. You've got your vision and your mood board ready to go as a reference. And you're also in the process of collating content and creating branded content, which is something that you'll continue to do. Yesterday, we talked about walking and talking, how your brand walks and how your brand talks. We'll get onto what your brand wears in terms of marketing in the next few days. But today I want you to be mindful of a couple of ground rules. The 3 C's, copycatting, competition, and creativity. Let me explain. Copycatting. Sometimes it's called Frankensteining, and we're all guilty of it. Sometimes we lack a little bit of inspiration. We go trawling through social media. We start browsing online. We start looking at different things. Somehow we just manage to fall onto our competitors' websites or social media profiles, and then we keep looking and we're like, oh, it's a little bit like a pick and list shopping list. Oh, I like that. I might copy that idea. Oh, I like the look of that graphic. Yep, I'll take that. Oh, I like how they did that video. Yep, I'm going to do exactly that. And what you end up doing is you end up copycatting. So you end up doing something that somebody else has done without thinking about whether it's relevant for your brand, whether it walks or talks that way. And it's easy done. I've done it many times, but at least I'm skilled enough to catch myself when I am doing it. And look, it's healthy. It's healthy to take a look at the competition. It really is, but it's not okay to copy them. What is okay is that you look at what they've done, and that serves as inspiration for you to go, I really like how they've done that graphic. Let's see if I can do something that works for me and use similar assets or something that I can create for myself. Or take a look at a video that somebody else has produced and say, I really like that style. What style is going to work best for me? So you need to always turn it around and say, yeah, that's great what they've done. But you need to ask yourself, how is it going to work for me? What style is going to work best for me? And how can I do it better than them? That's going to get you out of the trap of copycatting. Of course, if you're not sure if you are doing it or not, go back to one of your trusty advisors. Remember who they were, a friend or a family member that believes in what it is that you're doing and that it's known you long-term, a long-term client or a newly acquired one, a mentor, a coach, or a trusted ally, and ask them to give you some advice. The second one is competition. Now, I sort of touched on it on copycatting a little bit, but competition is healthy. It makes us do our personal best. It brings out the best in us, and in some cases, the worst. And when it brings out the worst, particularly where brands are concerned, you end up Frankensteining something because you've borrowed from here, you've borrowed from there, you've taken 2 arms off someone else, you've taken someone else's eyes, you've pieced it all together. It might walk and it might talk, but it's very robotic and it's not going to look right. Competition is good. Have a look at them. Know that they're there, and then stop. Delete them from your newsfeed. Curate your social media profile so they don't pop up. Don't keep looking at them, because where you focus your attention, energy flows. And I don't want your energy for your personal brand, your business brand, going out to everybody else. I want it focused on you, your personal brand, your business brand, your product and service. And if ever you find yourself sliding, or you're just having one of those days where it's just all effed up, go back to your brand anatomy, reread it out loud in front of the mirror. Don't look at your competition. If you're still stuck, have a look at that vision board. Have a look at that mood board that you create. Put yourself back into alignment. Get rid of the competition. Know they're there. Run your own race. I had a really good coach once tell me that if I'm paying attention to everybody else on the field, I've already lost the race. Run your race. Stay in your aisle. Don't watch what the competition is doing. Don't copy what they're doing. Focus on you. The third thing is creativity. Most creativity is born out of adversity. And people don't realize that, because if you think about it, that inspired thought, that birthing that concept, that comes when there are restrictions in play. That comes when adversity has happened. That comes when you've hit rock bottom. That comes when you don't know what else to do. That comes when there's no money, when you're being told, no, you can't, you shouldn't. It hasn't been invented yet. It hasn't been created yet. The best way to overcome copycatting, the best way to avoid focusing on the competition, is to get creative. And the question that I always say and push back to my A-team of creatives and strategists is, what else can we do? I've mentioned it in earlier videos. Put it back to yourself. What else can I do with this brand? What else can I do with this branded content? What else can I do to create something to improve my service, to better align with my brand values, the knees, the suspension in your brand anatomies document, to visually produce or to physically produce something that sits on my vision and my mood board? What else can I do? That's where creativity comes into play. Now, if you're stuck on creativity, you're like, Stella, like, I'm a technical person. I'm an engineer, I'm an architect, I'm a whatever, I'm the other side of the brain person. I don't do creative. I don't color in with my kids, and that's fine. But understand the definition of creativity. Creativity is thinking outside of the norm. Going somewhere, doing something, thinking of something, or creating or inventing something that hasn't been done before. It could simply mean that instead of you jumping straight onto your laptop or your own iPhone to document an idea, get pen and paper out. Just change your behaviors. Get up and walk away from your desk or your normal office or working environment and go and sit outside. For me, I actually like to go to the park. I'm there most days of the week anyway with my little guy. So I tend to use that time creatively to see what comes, what's inspired. And I have pen and paper, and I sketch, and I draw, and I document my ideas. I don't use technology. Sometimes my son gets in on the act too. He likes to have a little bit of a scribble. Sometimes he scribbles all over my notes. It doesn't matter. The point is to avoid copycatting, to avoid the competition, pay attention to them, don't focus on them, is you get creative. Like I said, if you do nothing else and you listen to nothing else in this challenge, focus on the 3 C's in branding. So stay tuned for day 14. You know what to do. PM me, comment up so I can take a look, and we'll see you tomorrow.